Now let us discuss about the continuation of project metrics. The next topic is SSPI. It stands for Statistical Software Process Improvement. Whenever an organization becomes more comfortable with the collection as well as the usage of process metrics, the derivation of simple indicators gives way to a more rigorous approach known as statistical software process improvement. It uses software failure analysis in order to collect information regarding errors and defects that are encountered while an application, product, or system is developed and used. The failure analysis works in the following manner. In order to assess the failure, we need to analyze the failure works related to any project. For that reason, the points are listed below. The first analysis work is we need to categorize all the errors and defects from the origin whenever the project is started, so that the categorization of all errors and defects are identified. The other analysis work is the cost to correct each error and defect is recorded. Whenever we are clearing any error or any defect, then the cost is imposed on it. So we need to record the cost related to the correction of any error or defect. The next task related to failure analysis is the number of errors and defects in each category is counted and are ranked in descending order. It means the number of errors and defects that are categorized are to be counted and are given ranks in such a way that the number of errors and defects order is represented in descending order, so that the least number of defects and errors are listed in the top of the list, so that they are cleared in a particular specified time. When the errors or defects are less, then it is understood that those can be rectified easily when compared with more number of defects or errors. The next analysis work is the overall cost of errors and defects in each category are computed. Whenever the cost is imposed on specific error or defect in every category, we need to compute such type of cost related to any project. The next failure analysis work is resultant data are analyzed in order to uncover the categories that result in highest cost to the organization. It means the resultant data is to be analyzed so that the uncovered categories, if they are present in our project in either errors or defects, then the result in highest cost of the organization is to be identified. And the next analysis work is related to the failure. Plans are developed to modify the process with the intent of minimizing the class of errors and defects that is most costly. Whenever a project is being developed, plans are also developed related to that project in order to modify the process in such a way that number of errors and defects that are most costly are reduced in further developing of the project. These are the concepts related in SSPI. Next, we can identify the causes of defects and their origin for 4 sample software projects. It is represented in the diagram with the origin of errors or defects. The specifications and requirements is one category, and the other one is designing, and the next one is coding. Whenever we are coming across specification or requirements, we will be having only 25.5% of the cause or defect related to the 4 software projects. And the next category is designing. The design includes logic, data handling, and standards. So as we know that we implement some logic in programming code, there is a chance of occurring of defect of 20% in the considered software projects. And data handling is another type of defect or error which will be coming across nearly 10.5% related to our specified projects. So we need to handle the data in a correct way so that the data is utilized properly. The next are different standards that we are implementing in order to develop our software project. It is related to the percentage 6.9 for this particular software projects that we considered. And coming to the coding involves several interfaces such as software, hardware, and user. Along with that, a part of the data is related to error checking. The percentages are given as 6.0, 7.7, 11.7, and 10.9 respectively for the considered 4 software projects. In this way, we will be categorizing the origin of errors or defects. Next, we will be discussing about fishbone diagram, which is used to analyze and also derive indicators that will enable a software organization in order to modify its process to reduce the frequency of errors and defects. Through this diagram, we can analyze the indicators in such a way that any organization data can be modified during the process in order to reduce the number of errors and defects count. If you observe in the diagram, there are horizontal as well as diagonal lines. The horizontal lines represent as spine. The spine line that is representing with a horizontal arrow is identified with only quality factor, whereas the diagonal lines that are represented on the horizontal line are used with the term rib. Each of the ribs cause quality problem. The spine represents quality factor and the ribs cause quality problem. If you consider the different ways of identification of the spine and rib in the diagram, the spine line represents specification defects. Whenever the user is encountering some problem related to it, specification defects are considered. So the specification, if it is correct and direct from customer to the software project manager, then all the specification identifications are considered, and if any defects are present, then it is easily identified. This in turn leads to the quality factor. And the ribs cause quality problem. The problem in quality occurs due to many reasons. It may be due to the missing of the data or any data that is ambiguous, which makes several confusions in placing the data. The location of the data may vary, and so on. Changes may be made during the process and development of any project. It may also cause a problem in quality, and the incorrect data that is identified in order to create the software quality problem are used outdated information or customer give wrong information. Whenever a customer asks for a wrong query, then we'll be undergoing such situation, or any inquiries related to the adequate or inadequate data that is represented when there is no sufficient data present and the customer is querying related to that data, that is also represented as incorrect data. And the outdated information can be related to the previous projects or the changes that we are making in building our project. Before the time before the changes were made, we cannot again retrieve that information related to our current project. That is another case in order to identify the incorrect data. So hope you understood this diagram with explanation. This diagram is represented as fishbone diagram. The next one is project metrics. The project metrics and the indicators derived from them are used by a project manager and a software team in order to adapt the project workflow and also technical activities. So I think everyone have an idea regarding the indicators and also project metrics that we have already discussed in the previous classes. So the first application of a project metric on most software projects occurs during estimation. However, we have already discussed about the concept of estimation. This concept comes only when we have a complete idea regarding the past projects or the completed projects that we have already done. Depending upon that project, we'll be estimating the future projects that we have come across in order to create or build or develop any project. So metrics collected from past projects are used as a basis from which effort and time estimates are made for current software work. So whenever we are proceeding with any project, measures of effort and also calendar time spent are compared to original estimates and the project schedule. Whenever a project is already developed for suppose 5 modules, then we will be having the other modules related to it. The other modules can be depending upon those 5 modules. Those 5 modules can be related to the other several teams. As the project proceeds, measures related to effort and calendar time spent are compared to the original schedule or original estimations related to that project. So this makes us the clear idea on estimation process while comparing different projects under development. And after the development of the projects, we can assess the estimations of that project related to effort and also the time spent related to any project. It may take, some projects may take nearly some weeks, or some projects will take a few months, and many of the projects, large projects if we consider with several modules, it may take long time, even years to complete it. The project manager uses these data to monitor as well as control the progress of the data related to any project. The product rates represented in terms of pages of documentation. So product rates are another measure in order to represent the documentation for any project. However, we have already discussed the term documentation It just simply contains a number of pages. The data is placed from the start to the end of any project so that it can be referred in future whenever we need to modify certain changes related to that project as per the changes of the customer ideas. Next, we'll be having several review hours related to our measures. The review hours depends upon the type of project we select and the team members related to that project. Functional points, wherever we need to point certain functionalities related to any project, there we need to cross check whether that functionality is working properly or not. And coming to the delivered source lines, these are measures related to the end user or customer. Whenever the project is ready, it will be handed over to the customer. He is the only person who will be identifying the delivery of the software project and whether the quality is maintained to that project or not is decided by the end user. In addition, errors uncovered during each software engineering task are tracked. Whenever the errors which are not covered during the testing phase in software engineering life cycle, then we need to track certain changes or errors related to the uncovered data whenever the software engineering task is being processed. As the software evolves from specification into design, we can conclude that technical metrics are collected in order to assess the design quality and also provide indicators which will influence the approach taken to code generation along with testing in order to evolve any software product. Next, coming to the concept of how should we use metrics during the project itself. The project metrics will be considered in a twofold process. First, these metrics are used to minimize the development schedule by making the adjustments necessary to avoid delays and mitigate potential problems and risks. We need to first minimize the development schedule. It will be developed only when we are making certain necessary adjustments to reduce the delays and also any other problems and risk related to those metrics. Second is project metrics are used to assess product quality on an ongoing basis and when necessary modify the technical approach to improve the quality. It means we need to use the assessment of any product quality ongoing basis whenever it is necessary to modify the technical approach, which in turn leads to improvement of the quality. Another model of software project metrics suggests that every project should measure three metrics. Those are inputs, outputs, and results. However, we'll be having an idea of what is an input, what is an output, and what is the result. So, let us discuss in detail about these. The measures of the resources required to do the work is represented as an input measure. So, these resources can be related to the project that we are initializing, the resources present in order to gather different large amounts of data in order to start or initialize our project, that is represented as input measure. Then coming to the output measure, these measures of the deliverables or work products created are identified as output measure. It means the deliverables will be handed over to the customer, or the work product that is created is given to the customer so that the output is identified by him or her related to the software project requested for. And next, coming to the third type of measure, that is results. These measures indicate effectiveness of the deliverables. Whenever the product is delivered to the customer should satisfy himself with the quality that is maintained in that software project so that the results are successful. If the quality is not maintained, then that software project result leads to failure. So we need to have certain idea related to these measures whenever the software metrics are implemented in software project. In actuality, this model can be applied to both process and project. In the project context, if we consider, the model can be applied repetitively or recursively as each framework activity occurs. For every framework activity that is occurred, we need to apply the same task repetitively for this model in project context. Therefore, the output from one activity becomes input to the next activity. When considering, result metrics can be used to provide an indication of the useful of work products. The result metrics can be used only when we provide an indication of usefulness of any working product as they flow from one framework activity to the next framework activity, and so on. So hence we can conclude that all the above three measures are really playing an important role in framing work of any activity related to the process and project while considering the model related to the software project metrics. Hence you have already all listened and identified the different concepts and subconcepts under it. Next we will be discussing about the learning outcomes that we have already learned in this session, that is SSPI, causes of defects, fishbone diagram, project metrics, metrics during project itself. Thank you one and all for listening, and let us discuss if you have any queries so that you will be having a clear idea related to the all the outcomes that are displayed on the screen. Just check over it. If you have any doubts, let us discuss. Just type your doubts in the chat box so that I can discuss one by one without any disturbance in between the class.